talks to you about his program. And if you have questions, feel free to ask him those questions. Also, he will be available at 11:30 in the internship office, just in case you don't have an opportunity to ask those questions. So again, I do hope that I will see you, if not today, but sometime in the near future. So please welcome Professor Gelb.
You've got to love these flip videos. And, you know, it's almost intimidating. I feel like I'm in some sci-fi movie where these things start coming after me. Anybody see Doctor Who? Remember the show, Doctor Who, the Daleks? No, the Daleks, yeah. So, before I talk about my program, you guys were talking, I understand this is about reporting for the public good. I have a sort of little bizarre view of this, is I believe that all reporting, by definition, is for the public good. In that any reporting that does its job, I define journalism today as a dissemination of information with the intent to inform, which is accurate for public dissemination, and with the aspects of being a business. If it has the intent to inform, any education, any information, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is the public good. So, now, beyond that, there's obviously very specific public good kind of reporting, which has sort of gotten into this term civic journalism. Is anybody familiar with this? The idea that journalism shouldn't just be about reporting and transferring information, it should be playing a role. I personally have a lot of problems with that. My problem is not with the concept. My problem is that it's what I call a slippery slope, in that where does it end? You know, it was obvious during Katrina where the public good was. Anderson Cooper, long may he stand, yelling at the governor and yelling at the government officials because they're doing a lousy job. That's great civic reporting. What happens when it comes to civic reporting when people are being foreclosed on their house and you're talking about the outrage of there being foreclosure? That's great. Now, I'm hardly a radical conservative, but there's something to be said for these people. A lot of these people got in way over their heads, buying houses they shouldn't, and while this is really, really, really unfortunate, there are a number of these people who are in tragic situations that probably had some responsibility for it. So if you're going to pick sides on a civic public good, then what side do you go on? And who do you call on the carpet? And that's, to me, where the problem with this idea of civic reporting starts to fall down. When you pick sides to solve it. I've done a lot of investigative reporting, and I know one story. I've done 1,000 stories in my career, and I know one story where there was black and white, where the good were good, the victims were victims, and the bad guys were just bad guys. And 3 weeks after we did the story, the FBI moved in and closed them down. Every other investigative story I've ever done drives me nuts because it's gray. And journalism doesn't do gray. And so when you start talking about reporting for the public good, I'm all for it, but it carries dangers that I think people don't quite realize. Okay.
I'm going to cut in on you for just a minute because we teach them all the time. All right, you people, I'm glad that you have your cameras. Why didn't you get a position up close so you can get a nice tight shot? And please, if you have a camera going and you're at a distance, move closer. And as a journalist, always get as close to the action as you can while still seeing what you need to see in the room. Sometimes you need to be in the back of the room. Sometimes you need to be in the front of the room. Sometimes the camera can be in the front of the room and you can be in the back of the room. So go ahead and get closer, okay? And you'll get a better shot. All right? Thank you.
Oh, no.
We're learning in the front. We're just getting going.
Well, you want to know one way that I can really mess all of you up in about 3 seconds? Hi. Okay. So, I just want to show you something that I think was something that my students did in my program this summer, which blew me away when they did it.
And when the light goes out, leave it running and see how well it picks up. Okay, not too bad. cameras actually do fairly well. It's good for you to test them in the dark and see how they work.
Didn't like it. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, there we go. Ready? Stop. Listen to Papa. I'm sorry. As I was saying,
Technology is a blessing and a curse.
isn't it? Come on. And we're gonna have to restart this, sorry folks.